When we look at extreme ancient rituals, our modern instinct is to recoil. We process the physical trauma and danger as chaotic, irrational torture, but that reaction misses the underlying logic. These are not random acts of madness. They are highly structured systems of cultural investment. This scale illustrates the economics of extremity, treating pain as a literal, transactional currency. On the input side, humans willingly risk infection, paralysis, or death, but the trade-off balances. The massive output guarantees collective survival, elevated status, and the absolute certainty of belonging. Analyzing this specific trade-off strips away the shock value. It exposes why humans are biologically driven to prioritize the group's shared belief over their individual physical safety. This quadrant chart maps our first group, the status seekers, individuals using severe bodily trauma to purchase permanent social elevation. On the far right of the physical pain axis is Brazil's Sateré-Moé tribe, where boys wear bullet ant gloves for 10 straight minutes. Enduring the most potent insect venom on Earth involves extreme nerve pain, temporary paralysis, hallucinations, and a severe risk of infection. Further along that same axis of biological risk is the Mandan tribe's historical Okipa ceremony, where young men were suspended from high poles by hooks driven entirely through their chest muscles. Or consider the knoghole land diving of Vanuatu. Men climb a massive wooden tower up to 100 feet in the air and leap off. They jump with only raw vines tied to their ankles. If a vine snaps, the resulting fall means a broken spine or immediate death. Here is the return on that extreme investment. By surviving the venom, the hooks, or the fall, these participants instantly graduate to manhood, prove their courage, and heavily elevate their mating status within the tribe. The participant intentionally sacrifices their immediate bodily safety to secure long-term inclusion. In an ancient environment, earning that status eliminates the deadly threat of becoming a societal outcast. This comparison table maps our next group, the spiritual investors. Here, self-administered wounds operate as a currency to buy divine favor and purification. During the Thaipusam piercing festival, devotees seek penance by pushing skewers through their cheeks and hanging heavy jars from hooks in their flesh. The biological cost of this extreme devotion includes heavy blood loss, a massive risk of sepsis, and permanent nerve damage. We see a similar physical toll during Ashura. Shia Muslim devotees mourn the martyrdom of Imam Hussein by whipping themselves with chains or blades. The deep wounds and blood loss generate a specific spiritual output, an undeniable public expression of grief, and unbreakable religious solidarity. We also see extreme heat used as collateral, moving from general firewalking practices across various cultures to Japan's intense okunchi fire dances. Participants walk barefoot across embers. Enduring severe third-degree burns is the accepted price for spiritual purification and protection against evil spirits. Devotees accept these harsh medical realities because the psychological relief of penance guarantees their standing and their safety within the religious community. This risk matrix outlines our final group, the collective continuers. These are scenarios where individuals take on catastrophic personal risks to ensure the prosperity of the entire community. In Madagascar's Famadina, families exhume the bodies of their ancestors. They rewrap the remains in fresh cloth and actively dance with the corpses. The hidden biological input here is severe exposure to biohazards. Moving these remains physically accelerates the spread of pneumonic plague and dangerous respiratory infections across the population. In India, the Kambala buffalo race functions as a chaotic agricultural ritual. Men sprint barefoot through flooded, muddy fields while tethered to massive racing buffaloes. To honor gods for a good harvest, the men invite the constant risk of catastrophic falls, trampling injuries, and drowning in the thick mud. And we must look at the ultimate historical sacrifice, the practice of sati in India, where widows were burned alive on their husbands' funeral pyres. This represents the absolute extreme of the economic transaction. Biological life itself is exchanged for a display of total devotion, purchasing immense spiritual prestige for the surviving family members. By risking devastating physical consequences, individuals and families purchase an illusion of control over future crop fertility and an unbroken ancestral lineage. We can look at these examples and think of them as distant history, But the deep psychology driving these physical trade-offs remains entirely active today. To understand our own behavior, we can use this scorecard, the framework of extremity. The first rule is that pain acts as currency. Human suffering is universally utilized as a measurable tool to buy social standing. The second rule is community over individual. Evolutionary survival always favors the collective ecosystem over the safety of a single person. The third rule is the illusion of irrationality. Even the most baffling rituals operate as highly structured societal investments. We have our own modern equivalents, where we trade biological inputs for status. We endure toxic corporate hustle cultures, chronic stress, and years of severe sleep deprivation to secure a title on a resume. These patterns suggest we remain hardwired to optimize for belonging and certainty, regardless of the era. Before we judge the return on investment of an ancient tribe's ritual, we must evaluate what physical health we currently sacrifice to afford our own societal capital.